Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Mr. Sanchez coming at you guys with another Algebra 2 lesson here today. If the screen looks a little bit different today, there's actually a good reason. This is my old iPad. My current iPad is broken. So if things don't look as big as you think they should be, that's because of the iPad. So apologies for the lower quality. Anyways, the real zeros of a polynomial function. We're going to be using synthetic division today. We're going to be doing section 4.2. The learning targets are to use the rational zero theorem to list the potential zeros of a polynomial, find the real zeros of a polynomial function, and find the real zeros of a polynomial function. Okay. So let's go with the let's go ahead and find the zeros. So we have a polynomial here, and we're going to use the rational zero theorem to discover what the possible zeros of this function are. And then we'll use synthetic division to go ahead and find those zeros. Okay. So first things first, we got to label a couple of things. Whenever you get a polynomial like this, you got to know that P refers to the last number here, and Q is gonna refer to our first number here. Okay. So we need P and Q. We're gonna list all the factors of P and Q. All right. So let's start with P, right? P is -6, so we need to list the factors of -6, right? What are the factors of -6? It's gonna be plus or minus 6 because 6 plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3. Those are all the numbers that multiply 6, and it can be in any combination of positive and negative. Okay. Next up, we have Q. Q is 2, so we gotta list all the factors of 2. That's plus or minus 2 and plus or minus 1. Okay. So right now, after we've listed all the possible factors of those two numbers, to find what the to find out what a potential zero is going to be, it's going to be any combination of these two in fraction form. So you're going to have P over Q. So you can have plus or minus 6 over 2, which is technically 3. So instead of 6 over 2, we're going to write 3. Plus or minus 6 over 1, which is 6. Plus or minus 1 over 1, which is 1. Plus or minus 2 over 1, which is 2. Plus or minus 3 over 1, which is 3. And plus or minus 3 over 2, which is 3 over 2. These are all our potential zeros. All right. And now all we got to do is try and find a zero. Okay. So usually to determine, you can just plug all these values in and hope we get a zero. So what do I mean by that? So to determine if one is a zero, you can plug in 6. I'm gonna try 6. I forgot what the real zero is. I wrote it down somewhere, but you're gonna do f of 6. All right, if it equals to 0, that means it is a 0. So you're gonna have 2 times 6 cubed plus 11 times 6 squared minus 7 times 6 minus 6. If that equals to 0, this is a 0. 6 cubed is 36 times 6 gives me a 6, 36, so 18 plus 3, 21 times 2 plus 11 times 36 minus 42 minus 6, which is 432 plus 11 times 36, which is a huge number. 367, I believe. Or 376. Anyways, you can tell it's not gonna equal to 0, so we're gonna go ahead and this is not a 0. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and try and use a different number. I guess another number you can try is maybe -6. So that's going to give us 2 times -6 cubed plus 11 times 6 squared minus 7 times 6 minus 6. 6 cubed is 36 times 6. 18 plus 21. To negative 216 plus 11 times 36 minus 42 minus 6. Let's see what's 11 times 36. Right, that's gonna be 66 plus 33, 396. All right. And then 2 times 216 is 432. Negative 432 plus 396 minus 42 minus 6. Which is also not a zero. So as you can see, it's gonna take a while to find the zeros, but there's actually an easier way to determine zeros. You don't want to do it that way. To determine if something is a zero, let's just go ahead and try a number. I'm gonna try positive 2, right? Let's try that one more time. If this works, I hope it works, but we'll see. We're gonna have 2 times 8 plus 11 times 4 minus 7 times 2 minus 6, 16 plus 44. No, that's already gonna be minus 14. No, that's not gonna work. So you're gonna see this takes a while, right? Let's try negative 2 before. This is a long process, so you gotta hope it works. So try negative 2, right? So it's gonna be 2 times negative 8 plus 11 times 4 plus 14 minus 6. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16 plus 44 plus 14 minus 6. It's not going to work out. So it's not negative 2 either. All right, so which one? What is our zero, guys? What is our zero? Let's try. There's another way to do this, and we're going to use synthetic division to determine if something is a zero, right? So synthetic division, you're going to take all these numbers in the front, and you're going to have 2, 11, negative 7, negative 6, right? And I do synthetic division like this. I don't know how other teachers teach it, but this is how I've learned it. And you're gonna pick one of these factors. Let's try 1, right? So you have 1 here. I can already tell it's not gonna work. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna drag down this 2 here, and then it's 2 times 1, which is 2. 11 plus 2 is 13. 13 times 1 is 13. Negative 7 plus 13 is 6. 1 times 6 is positive 6. Oh, you know what? That gets us a 0. So guess what? 1 is actually a 0. So what happens? You're going to write x minus 1. So you're always going to turn it into a minus. And then you're going to have a new factor here. All of this is going to go down 1 power. So because it was x cubed, it's not going to be 2x squared plus 13x plus 6 equal to 0. And we should know how to factor this one, right? So it's 2 times 6, which is going to be 12. 1 multiplies to 12 and adds to 13. Well, that's easy. That's 12 and 1. And you're going to divide it by this 2. So then you're going to get these are going to be the following 0. This is 6. That's still 1/2. So this is going to go down x minus 1, x plus 6, and then 2x plus 1 equal to 0. So that means our zeros are going to be x minus 1 equal to 0, which means x equals 1. X plus 6 equal to 0, which means x equals negative 6. And then 2x plus 1 equal to 0, which means x is going to equal to negative 1/2. So notice how I got x equals negative 6 as one of the right zeros. That means I messed up when I plugged it in. Okay, so this is a hard process, but you'll get it after a couple of tries. We're gonna have a lot of times to try this in class, so don't worry if you don't get it just now. And we're gonna have one more example. Okay, so here we have a higher power, a higher powered function, and then our p is 8, and our q is plus or minus 1. Right? So right. So now we just gotta list all the factors of 8. That's 4 plus or minus 4, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 1. That means, is it like that? Yeah, okay. That means that our potential zeros are gonna be P over Q, right? So that means we're gonna have plus or minus 8, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 1. All right, and I'm just gonna use synthetic division to find the answer, okay? So remember, when you don't have a number, you're gonna put a 1. And if you don't have a, so we're gonna write 1, -1, -6, 4, and 8. And we're gonna hope to find one of our zeros using synthetic division. So let's try out with 1. I like using the 1 because usually the numbers are easier to work with. You're always gonna bring this first number down, and then you're gonna do 1 times 1. That's gonna be positive 1. That's going to give us 1 times 1, -1 plus 1. That's going to give us 0. 1 times 0 is 0. -6 plus 0 is -6. -6 times 1 is -6. -6 plus 4 is -2. 1 times -2 is -2. That does not, and then 8 minus 2 is 6, which means since we didn't get a 0 here, it's not a 0. Let's try again, okay, guys? I think a number that could work might be, let's try 2, right? 2 times 1 is 2. -1 times 2 is +1. 2 times 1 is 2. -6 minus 2 plus 2 is -6 plus 2 is -4. -4 times 2 is -8. 4 times -8 is -4. -4 times 2 is -8. So that gives us 0, right? So that means this becomes x minus 2. And now we have this new problem. X cubed plus x squared minus 4x minus 4 is equal to 0. And here's the fun part of these problems, which some of you guys might hate. We now have to do P and Q. So this is our new P. This is our new Q. And we're gonna go ahead and list all our possible factors. P over Q. I like writing it like this. And it's gonna be plus or minus 4 and 2 over 1 and 1 over 1. Right. So I'm gonna go ahead and try 2 again. I might be cheating because I think I know the answer, but right. So we're gonna take that. Remember, these numbers come from here. The coefficients in front of x. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna try or I'm gonna try 2 again. 1 times 1, well, it's gonna be 2, right? It's gonna give us 3. And then 3 times -4 is 2 times 3 is 6. -4 plus 6 is gonna be positive 2. 2 times 2 is 4. -4 plus 4 is 0. So that means we have another x minus 2 as our 0. So this one goes down. This goes down. And now we have x squared plus 3x plus 2 equal to 0. And we know that this is factorable. If you don't know what these factors over to, you're gonna have to practice, but that's gonna be x plus 2 times x plus 1 equal to 0. And you're gonna have x minus 2 times x minus 2. Remember, x minus 2 times x minus 2 is x minus 2 squared. So we're just gonna write that here. X plus 2 times x plus 1 equal to 0, which means our zeros are gonna be positive 2, -2, and -1. Given that information, we could technically graph our function, right? We go back to the original. And our original would have a y-intercept of 8. How do I know that? This is our constant term. So a y-intercept of 8. And the zeros would be at 2, -2, -1, and +2. Right? And we know this is degree 4. And it's positive, so you're gonna go like that, right? The shape should be like that, so we're gonna go down, up, down, and then I guess this one's gonna touch here. And you know it touches there because of its multiplicity. Anyways, that's basically synthetic division. We're gonna have a lot of time to practice this in class, so don't worry, guys, if you don't get it on the first try. Other than that, guys, have a great day. Bye-bye. This is the lesson.